What is up, everyone? In this video, we're going to be talking about EQ and some of my thoughts on it. And another thing is I'm going to answer one question that I see a lot in the audio world and on YouTube comments. So the question I see a lot is, what are the best IEMs for gaming? And for gaming, honestly, you just need something with really good imaging. So for me, if you're saying for gaming only, probably the IER M9 because it has pinpoint imaging. But if you don't want to spend that much, you can always get literally anything works. There's not like a best for imaging. You could use a Helios, a Variations. You could use thinking there's not that many IEMs that have an open sound for about $100, but maybe. Honestly, anything works. I don't have that many IEMs that are in like the $100 to $200 range, so I'm not sure. But like the Timeless probably works, even though it doesn't have the best spatial cues. And then, honestly, I haven't heard a good IEM that has a good soundstage or imaging under 200-300. But yeah, anyways, let's talk about EQ now. So I think EQ is just not optimal, and I see this a lot in the audio community where people try to fix their headphones with EQ, like an Abyss or a Hi-Fi Man headphone that just sounds grainy, peaky, doesn't have good bass performance. So I think if you're trying to use EQ to fix your headphone, that's kind of like coping. Because you can get so many products where you don't even need EQ, or it needs a little bit of EQ. And I honestly think every single IEM I've heard, they need some sort of tuning adjustment to sound correct. I haven't heard a single IEM that sounds perfect from the bass to the treble. And I will give a few examples. So the Helios for me needs like a few decibels in the upper mid-range. The Variations just has 0 mid bass, and it has a slight bit of timbre issues. And then the Supernova, even though it has the best tonality I've heard, the mid bass for me is too much. It's not that much, like it's only a few decibels, but I'm thinking if the Supernova had the mid bass of the Helios, I think maybe it would sound better. And then the U12T needs a little bit more of an upper mid range. So every single product you buy, it's not going to be perfect in terms of the tuning. And I am waiting for an IEM that has perfect tuning from the bass to the treble. So in the bass, it should be sub-bass focus, and then the mid bass shouldn't be too much, because the thing is, if you add too much mid bass, you're coloring instruments. The instruments aren't going to sound true tone like real life or that sense of clarity, because a mid bass just makes things sound warm, like voices. And then if you have too much mid bass, it could color the entire presentation. So in my audio journey, I did learn that mid bass isn't a good thing, or a lot of it, because the quality of the instruments won't be clear. It might sound good for certain instruments like a bass guitar and a guitar, but in terms of every single other instrument, it might not sound tonally accurate. And then another thing is, EQ is kind of a waste of time. The whole point of my journey was to find the perfect IEM or the perfect sound quality. And if I have to use EQ to make those adjustments, that's just kind of a waste of my time. And I'm not enjoying the music, which is the whole point of all of these things, is so you can enjoy your music and hear it to its full potential. And yeah, EQ is basically like modifying a car. You're changing the way certain things sound. And if you're trying to fix treble with EQ, good luck with that. You can't fix treble after like 8K. You can manually do it, but you're not going to get the exact same result. It might be 80% or maybe 90 at most, but it's impossible to EQ and treble above 8K. I actually got EQ Mac. I was playing around with it. I'm not like the perfect person for EQ because I'm not really into that type of stuff. But yeah, and then another thing is EQ doesn't work on certain types of drivers. For example, BAs are really sensitive. So they have like a specific specification, and then if you boost one area, it might just sound not tonally accurate. The timbre might be off, it might be too harsh, and all of these other things. And then if you have, let's say, a dynamic driver, it's like really, really hard to tune a dynamic driver to get good treble performance. So if you EQ a dynamic driver, there still might be some issues with the way the treble sounds, because it's just usually just one driver doing all of the work. And trust me, I've heard a lot of IEMs, and if you have only one driver, it's not going to be to its fullest potential. You need to add multiple drivers, or else the separation just won't be that good. So yeah, here are my thoughts on EQ. And I think I covered everything. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I do have an earbud coming into review, and another IEM, a different YouTuber, is sending me. So that's probably going to be the next video. And hopefully you guys found this helpful. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.